but still stuck with money?
Let's be real. The best time to get your money right was yesterday. The next best time is today. I know, I get it. I've been there. Credit card debt, bills piling up, and not taking those calls. I was making good money, but still living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't know what I didn't know. I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. Can you relate? But I have good news. You can take action today. It's not too late. Hi, I'm Dignity Coach Mariolene, and I am here to empower you to reclaim dignity in your finances. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dignity in Dollars podcast, a safe place where we take back our financial power, reclaim dignity in our finances, heal our relationship with money, to design and live the life we desire and deserve. Say it with me. What I desire, I deserve. Doesn't that feel better? Even saying that out loud in your own hearing starts to dismantle the mindset that you had before. That's how deep and how powerful the spoken word is. That you hear it, you say it, you hear it, it goes in, and then you just repeat it over and over. So if you have learned things through that, imagine what you can unlearn and replace. Today is our monthly case study episode. This is one of the most favorite things that I do. This is where I sit down and I share a real client situation with real transformation. Because sometimes the most powerful thing I can do for you is not just, it's not just teach you the principles, but show you them in action, impacting a real person situation. So this will show you what they look like when a real person lives them out. And I need you to hear this today. This whole money relationship, this whole money trauma, this whole money healing, this whole money journey that we are on, this is a marathon. It is not a sprint. So give yourself grace right now, because the voices are going to come for you as I start to talk about Carl's example for you and in this case study. So if you feel triggered, come back. There's no judgment here. This is a safe place. I want everybody to win. I want everyone to get healed. I want everyone to live their best life and be the person that God created them to be. That's what I want for you. Not a marathon. A marathon, not a sprint. So buckle up. Let's go. What you're about to hear did not happen overnight. It happened one small compounding decision at a time. Today, we are talking about Carl. And I want you to meet Carl. Carl came to me in July 2025 through our 4 Keys to Master Your Money Without a Budget workshop. And when he came, he had his own thoughts about money and was pretty quiet in the workshop, actually. Didn't say very much. And sometimes I think that's because people are disinterested, but I've come to learn that that's because they are listening. And what I want you to hear is how Carl described himself back then in his own words. He said, I used to have no idea where my money was. I knew how much money I make, but I had no idea what I spent it on. You hear that? I know how much money I'm making, but I have no idea where it's going or what I'm spending it on. 6 figures. So this has nothing to do with the quantity of money that you have. It has everything to do with the quality of the financial education that you have. And for Carl, everything was living in his head, or so he thought. but nothing was actually tracked. Nothing was actually planned. Nothing was actually grounded. And can I tell you something? Carl is not alone. Before I go any further, let me ground this in some numbers, because Carl's story is not rare. Today, U.S. credit card debt has reached approximately 1.25 trillion. $1.25 trillion nationwide. The average American consumer holds about 3 to 4 credit cards and owes roughly $6,659 in an average balance. And roughly 46 to 47% of cardholders carry a monthly balance, facing average interest rates hovering above 21%. Did you hear that? Nearly half of cardholders in this country are carrying debt every single month at over 21% interest. This is why you may feel like you're never catching up. It almost feels like, yes, I pay the $25 per month, but why does it look like my balance is going up? That is because the majority of what you're paying is going to the interest, not to your principal. We'll talk about that another time, but just know that you're not crazy. So if you're watching this right now and you feel exposed, you are not alone. You are not behind. You're simply human, living in a system that was not designed to make this easy for you. Carl also told me, I think I was afraid to see the number. That is shame talking and guilt, and arguably a little bit of pride that has us hemmed up because we don't want anyone to know that we don't know what we're doing. Newsflash, nobody knows what they're doing. There's only two groups of people: those who don't know what they're doing and are doing a great job of hiding it, and those who don't know what they're doing and are taking the courage to ask for help and tell somebody, I don't know what I'm doing, but I need help. Shame usually is what keeps us in bondage from doing that. And today we're going to address that. Because that, for him, that is the shame. That is the shame that kept him like this. And that's the same shame I talk about on this show. I had the same shame. He didn't even know how to print his own credit score. Basic tasks felt overwhelming. But here's what made Carl different. He showed up anyway. He said in the Focus Fire community, in my reply to a Monday, how you doing? Because I like to check in on the people. And his response was, not good. I feel a little lost, but I'll be back on track tomorrow. This is what people can do. This is what you can do when you get time and support and community and accountability. Trust me when I tell you, money trauma is not healed in isolation. It's healed in community. This is not something that you can do all by yourself, because you're already up against shame and guilt and pride who are not for you. They are against you. So that's 3 to 1 already. So it'll be very difficult for you to overcome this that you've been doing for decades by yourself. Time, support, community, accountability. Carl had all of those. So he named it instead of disappearing. That honesty, that is where real change begins. So I'll say this now. If this message is helping you already, please share this live right now and tag someone who needs to hear Carl's story today. Let's keep going. At the end of July 2025, Carl took the Master Your Money workshop. After that, he enrolled in my August Financial Liberation Bootcamp. This is where the insight that he gained in the workshop changed everything for him. So it changed his insight into structure. And Carl said something in that boot camp that I want every single one of you to write down. He said, the initial euphoria of taking action is only the very beginning of a huge transformation. Just stay at it. Take baby steps. I need you to hear that again. Baby steps. And this is a great time to inhale and exhale and give yourself grace and forgive yourself. You are not bad with money. You are not taught how to be good with money. So the same way you can learn bad habits, you can learn good habits, and you can learn them here. So if you want to keep in contact with me, if you want to stay in the loop, just go to focusfire.life and sign up, get on our contact list, and you'll be in the loop. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Small actions done consistently compound over time. That's it. That's the whole secret. Instead of chasing perfection, Carl committed to learning. He used the shame-free spending flow, our version of a budget, and built himself a daily expense spreadsheet, his very first real system. And over time, something beautiful happened. Awareness replaced effort. He told me, recently, I haven't even done inputs on my daily expenses because I really pay attention to how much I spend. Did you hear that? So it's moved from the paper to inside of him, to his mind, to his mindset being changed. So the tracking became who he was, not just something he did. But then came the discovery that stunned him. While completing the debt-free chart we use to list debts, and what I ask people is when they say, well, what's the amount that I should list? My answer, everything 1 penny or more. Why do I say that? It sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not. If you've ever listed your debts and you look back on that, do you remember how you left some things out because they were small or you thought it wasn't important or inconsequential? So you listed either the ones that were freaking you out, the ones that were stressing you out, the ones that were at the top of your mind, and you left some others off. What that does is make your first initial number incorrect. So now this is the number we're going to use to make decisions about other things. This is the number we're going to use to make a plan to help you to get debt free. But if that number is 5,000, but you left out some medical bills, you left out that you owe somebody some money, you left out some things that you're like, I just don't want to deal with that right now because I haven't opened those envelopes. And the real amount is 8,500, we are not going to get to where we're going. It's like having a map that you want to go to Florida, but the map is to Canada. So already you're going in the wrong direction, right? You're going north when you should go south. And no matter how good your intentions are, no matter how many positive affirmations you say, if you are going in the wrong direction, you will never get to where you're going. So everything, a penny or more, goes on the debt-free form. And he filled that out. He added credit cards, medical bills, everything, what he owed, what was sitting on a counter somewhere in his bedroom that he hadn't opened up those envelopes. He opened them up. He put every single thing in there. And do you know what happened? Carl found out he had 17 credit cards. Let me let that sink in. Just give you all a second. Are you getting it? Is it happening? Yep. Okay. Yes. 17 credit cards. Like, what? I'd be freaking out too. But here's the thing. On the other side of that is now you know. You can't make plans in the dark. You need to know everything that is going on. Even the Bible says, with a multitude of counselors is a good decision made. So you need as much information as possible to make a good decision and then make good plans. And he had no idea. He said, I thought I needed a new wallet. Then I realized I didn't need a new wallet. I just needed a new outlook. Boom. That is not a financial statement. That is a spiritual one. That is someone having a revelation. So his thought was to go buy a new wallet. It never occurred to him that he needed to decrease the number of credit cards in his wallet. Do you see what I'm saying? So he's on autopilot. He's on the, when I get to the store, let me break out the pack. Let's see which one is the one I'm going to use today. I hope there's something on this one. And if we're being honest, those of y'all who are grown like myself, who used to write checks, I would get to the counter with the dress that I had to have, and I would put it on the counter. I had no idea how much money I had in my bank account at that moment. And truth be told, my credit cards were maxed out. So my solution to this was not, hey, Mariolene, put the dress back. You can't afford it. And walk out this store right now. Nope. With my genius brain, I decided I'm going to write a check. Because if I write the check today, Friday, by the time it gets to the bank on Monday, I will have figured out to get some money in there, and I'll have at least 2 or 3 days before it clears. Y'all remember that? Anybody brave enough to be like, yeah, that was me, I've done that. So all of this intelligence I have that I could use for good, I was using for evil. I was using to put myself in more debt. And I did it all the time because I had no discipline and no self-control. When I saw something I wanted, I got it. I figured out a way to get it, as opposed to figure out a way to get myself out this store. So Carl is not special and different, and I'm not special and different, or else these statistics would not be saying that half of this country is in real debt. And don't get me started on keeping up with the Joneses. Pride and shame and guilt is having a field day in our lives, and we need to be delivered from that. Again, you're not bad with money. You were never taught about money, but now you can learn. So hopefully you're getting revelations today. So Carl took this revelation and then signed up for one-on-one. In our community on Wednesdays, I have office hours, and anybody can sign up and have a one-on-one. So through our one-on-one, Carl saw why every past attempt never stuck. He said, I would reduce my balances and then just start spending again. It's a cycle because you don't change the behavior. Are the bombs going off? Is it just me? I'm going to say that again. It's a cycle because you don't change the behavior. Buying a new wallet is not changing your behavior. It's enabling you to get into more bad behavior. But reading a book, taking a class, literally there is financial and money trauma therapy also. Taking a workshop, getting one-on-one coaching. These are all things that will help you change your behavior. And as my pastor would say, I'm going to give you this one for free. You know how you see those commercials for debt consolidation? So it sounds very nice. And oftentimes I'm asked, what is my opinion about those? Should I do it? And here's my answer. It depends. It depends on two things. If you are a person who has self-control, self-discipline, this could work for you because you have self-control and self-discipline. You are present in your finances and you need some help for a limited amount of time. If that is not you, then it's a hard pass because the business model of those companies is a revolving door. Why is that? Because I walk in, I say I have $5,000 of debt. They say, we got you. We set up a payment plan of $250 per month for 3 years. I walk out saying, whew, I'm so super happy. I go on with my life. 3 years goes by. They tell me it's my last one. I'm super excited. But do you know what didn't happen in those 3 years? I didn't read a book. I didn't take a class. I didn't take a workshop. I didn't go get help. I am the same person. And I can tell you the truth. I have worked myself out of debt and have been debt-free 3 times. The first time I got out of debt, do you know what I did? I gifted myself with a shopping spree. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's exactly what I did. My mind hadn't changed. I could not wait until I got to 0 so that I could go buy stuff. Arguably, it's an addiction, but that's a whole other episode we'll do another time. My behavior did not change. And most people who go into debt consolidation, their behavior doesn't change. So they will get to 0 and then they will rack up the credit card debt again, and then they will come right back. Because think about it. Would the business plan work? Would the business model work if folk just kept getting debt-free and never came back? They would go out of business. Just putting that out there. And as my pastor would say, that was free. It is a cycle because you don't change the behavior. When Carl said that, I knew that now he was just getting revelation on a regular basis. So this time when we addressed it in our one-on-one, we were not just changing numbers, we were changing the behavior. Your mindset about money started when you were a child. You were born into what I call a money story already in progress. And you took it as the truth, the facts, the gospel. And heard things like money doesn't grow on trees. Do I look like I'm made of money? Do you have McDonald's money? Do you have Chuck E. Cheese money? Why do you keep always asking me for money? We can't afford that. We don't have money for that. You don't know what money is. So this is on constant repeat. And you're a kid. You don't even know what the concept of money is, but you know it makes people mad. You know, every time you say it, you get a visceral reaction from people. But that doesn't stop you from going to school, graduating from high school, going to college, graduating from college, getting a job. And in neither of those institutions did you learn how to open a bank account, write a check, balance a checkbook, because the system that you're in is producing consumers, not producers. You need to get through school and get a job and make money so you can buy things. And as I've said before, money is for 5 things. You make it, you save it, you invest it, you give it, and you spend it. Spend is 5. It's the 5th thing. Why? If you make money and you spend money, you will not save it. You will not invest it. You will not give it. But we are taught to make money and to spend money. So this, as you think about it, I'm sure all of you can relate to what I'm saying. You were born into a story, and through osmosis, it became your story. But hear me when I tell you, it's not your story or your truth. As a matter of fact, your money memory is one of the first things you uncover in our Master Your Money workshop. And then you unpack it in the Financial Liberation Bootcamp. From there, solutions to heal your relationship with money flow freely. And that's what happened with Carl. From the moment he said he was going to address this, he was already 99% of the way there. And then he put pencil to paper. Then he dismantled the shame, the fear, the guilt, the pride. And the more he did it, the more he wanted to not just get free, but stay free. And the guilt, the shame, the pride started to lose control and power over him. He began to have more time to spend with his wife. He began to have more time to spend with his son and his grandson. He began to look at his health and got a trainer. He began to change the way he eats and the way he moves about the world. I cannot tell you the power that financial stress has on us. It is not just one thing. If you are stressed out about money, it shows up in your health, your wealth, and your well-being. It shows up mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. It shows up everywhere, whether you see it or not. And many of you may not even know that you're suffering from money trauma. I encourage you, go to the website, focusfire.life, and in the contact form, say, please send me the quiz. I will send it to you so you can see for yourself. And if you are a parent, please, please, please consider what you're passing down to your kids, because you are in a position to impact 10 generations down. The same way that the 10 generations before you are impacting you. And if you are good with money, hooray. That means somebody 10 generations down coming to you made a different decision. You do not have to continue on whatever money train that you are if it is not taking you anywhere. I am happy to help you. It brings me great joy that all the misery that I went through, that I can impart it on you so that you can miss that train and go further, faster, and accelerate and learn from my mistakes and learn the lessons that I paid for with real money, with real tears, with real scabs. I'm happy to give those to you. And those are the ones that I gave to Carl. Those are the ones that I gave to him. And then he used them. And then his life changed. So I want to share 3 solutions Carl used that you can use too. I'm going to pull them right out of his story because these are not just his, these are for you. Number 1, build a simple tracking system. Carl started with a basic daily expense spreadsheet, our shame-free spending flow. Not fancy, not perfect, just honest. When you can see it, you can manage it. Number 2, know your true number. All of it, everything a penny or more. That will be your true number. Even the uncomfortable numbers, even the envelopes you haven't opened. Take a deep breath, rip off the Band-Aid, open the envelopes. You'll be glad you did. Carl didn't even know he had 17 credit cards until he actually sat down and counted and put the card, the interest rate, the credit limit, and the amount he owed. You cannot fix what you refuse to look at. That is called denial. Don't be the ostrich with your head in the sand. Shake it off. Get in community because you will not grow in isolation. Be around people who are either trying to get to where you're trying to go or who have already arrived. Everyone else, as the saying goes, if you're the smartest one in your group, you need a new group. Number 3, change the behavior, not just the balance. That your balance is at 0, but your mindset is still on spending, not saving, not investing, not reading, not attending workshops, not learning, not getting into community, the balance is going to go right back up. Change the behavior, change the mindset, not just the balance. Carl said it himself. He used to pay down the debt and then start spending again because the behavior never changed. Debt payoff without a mindset shift is just a temporary fix. What changed Carl? Carl didn't just gain tools. He gained clarity. He stopped reacting to his money and started responding to it. He started off, he paid off 5, 6 credit cards. His credit score rose over 80 points. Over 80 points. This is just paying on time and paying consistently. He learned strategy, like keeping accounts open to manage utilization instead of closing them out of frustration. Sometimes we're like, I hate these credit cards, I'm gonna cut them off, and I'm just gonna never use them again. Wrong. You need them. A credit card in and of itself is not evil. It's in whose hand it resides. And my job is to make sure that your hand is intelligent, experienced, educated, and that you have the tools to manage this power that is in your hand. He also learned a truth that shifted everything for him. He said, if you have debt, you don't have extra money. I had a client said to me once that they felt like they were pretty good because they had $5,000 in their savings. And I said, okay, how much debt do you have? They said, $10,000. I said, well, the correct math here is you have $0 in your savings because if all your debtors came calling and you had to pay them all off, you're at 0. So you have 0 savings and you're $5,000 in debt. That's the real math. That's the truth. So again, the Bible's clear about this. Owe no person but to love. So our goal is to be debt-free. It is to not have debt. So if you think you have extra money, but you still owe, that math ain't mathing. It's when you are debt-free, when you don't owe anybody anything. That, any dollar after that, that's extra money. That one sentence for him broke years of emotional spending cycles for Carl. Years. That is when the healing began. He told me, I don't know if I've ever felt like this before. Peace was showing up where anxiety used to live. Peace was showing up where shame used to live. Peace was showing up where pride used to live. Peace was showing up where shame used to live. And he was only getting stronger. But know that when you've overcome something and you think you're good, life is like, let's see. Maybe you are and maybe you're not. So life tested him. Soon as he was starting to get things together, Carl was released from his job. But instead of falling back on his credit cards and spiraling out of control, he paused. He reached out to the community for help. He called me and set up a one-on-one. he leaned into what he'd been taught and pulled out his tools and resources. He said, because I was aware of my expenses, I could see I had enough money to pay my bills and look for a job without stress or desperation. Little gem here, there's a difference between being desperate and determined. Sometimes the energy feels the same, so you got to know. If you're stressed, if your heart is beating in your chest and you don't know what you're going to do and you're terrified, you're desperate. If you have a plan and you know what you're going to do, feel a little nervous, but you're dedicated because you have a plan, you're determined. And with this plan, he adjusted. He reduced his payments temporarily to the monthly payment instead of paying in full. He protected his cash. He trusted the plan that he had created and built. 3 months later, he got another job and is back to paying his credit cards off in full each month. That, my friends, that is financial liberation in action. This is what free people do, because now they're liberated. That's what freedom turns into when you practice it. Liberation. So that when something comes along, you're ready. You have the experience, the tools, the knowledge, the resources to meet it head on. So, where is Carl now? As of today, Carl is living inside a reality that once felt impossible to him. After those 3 months out of work, he started a new position. And instead of spending freely with his new income, do you know what he did? He scheduled a coaching session with me as part of being a member in the Focus Fire community. The goal was simple: create a plan for the increase in pay, because when you don't tell your money where to go, it just goes away. That's it. It just goes away. Carl told me, without what I've learned from the workshop and the boot camp I took through Focus Fire, I would have just spent randomly. Just spent it. Together, we were able to update his debt-free plan, align his savings goals, and got clear on the next steps. He said, I will be able to pay off more credit cards and save money because I have a plan. And then came a moment that says it all. Carl told me he was going on a vacation to Puerto Rico. And I asked him a question that he had never been asked before. Do you have a vacation budget? And I followed it up with, are you using cash or credit cards? Carl's response, no, I never thought about it. But this time, instead of panic, he planned. He said, I actually was able to come up with a plan. Wow. His bills were already paid. His new job pays weekly. And for the first time in his life, he said, I can use all cash next week for this vacation. All of this is so new to me. And just recently this month, Carl sent me something that made me laugh and made me proud all at once. He said, so I have paid off multiple credit cards because of the super duper debt-free spreadsheet. I must have credit card PTSD because I'm still looking for when payments are due. That no longer exists. Wow. Do you hear that? He is still catching himself looking for bills that don't even exist anymore. Because that is how deep the old pattern was. And that is how far he has come. What he was practicing has now become a discipline. And then Carl said the words that summed up his whole journey. It just keeps getting better, one step at a time. Carl is on track to be debt-free by December 2026. And not only that, because it's freed up so much soul space, so much mind space, that we had another meeting to talk about his gifts, talents, and abilities. And he's looking to also start his own business. Something he also said he dreamt of a long time, wanting to be an entrepreneur and a business owner. And mind you, he's been doing what he's doing for 35 years. So on speaking and consulting alone, that's already 2 income streams that we discovered. So this brother about to be debt-free in December and start a new business. If that is not different by December, I don't know what that is. And we actually are doing an event called Different by December. So as I said, if you want to keep on the loop of all the amazing things going on at Focus Fire, go to focusfire.life, sign out our contact form, and you'll be on the list to know all the wonderful things that are happening. So what does this mean for you? For Carl's story. From June 2025 to now is that this is not a sprint. It is a marathon. It's not rushed. It's not forced. It's not perfect. It is honest. It is supported. It is moving forward. Again, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Every spreadsheet entry, every card he counted, every uncomfortable phone call, those were small actions, and small actions compounded over time, every single time. Even if you take 2 steps back to go 5 steps forward, keep going. Through the workshop, through the boot camp, and staying in community, Carl gained more than tools and spreadsheets. He gained confidence. He gained clarity. He gained peace. And most importantly, he gained the ability to trust himself with his money again. Healing in action. From trauma to triumph. If Carl can go from 17 credit cards and being afraid to look at numbers and open his bills to planning a cash vacation to Puerto Rico, so can you. Wealth, healing, and dignity are not reserved for someone else. They are for you. Wherever you are in your money journey, whatever you were told, today can be a new day. You get to start over. The power you have is to choose, to say yes. I want to leave you with this. Financial liberation does not happen overnight, but it does happen when you keep showing up one small step at a time. Carl kept showing up, and today I'm asking you to show up too, for yourself, for your spouse, for your kids, for your community. And to the men out there, I see you. I know that oftentimes folks will say you're not interested in this, but I don't believe that. I push back and say, nobody asked you. So I'm asking you. And I'm asking you to be kind to yourself, because I know that your family, your partner, your kids expect that you should know everything about money and be an expert. I know you're not, and that's okay. What is not okay is living in shame. I can help you. And for those of you that have been here knowing that is you, I can help you too. If today's conversation spoke to you, visit focusfire.life. Join our community. Take the 4 Keys to Master Your Money Without a Budget You Hate workshop. Join our boot camp. Financial liberation is for you. Get coaching. Some things you may be scared of saying around a bunch of people. Sign up for one-on-one. Get it out your system. Do not isolate yourself. We are an oasis. That's what Focus Fire is. An oasis in the desert where there's no judgment, no guilt, no shame. Just the resources, the tools, the encouragement, and the community and the support that you need to become the person that God created you to be. Everyone's waiting. Your spouse is waiting. Your kids are waiting. Your company is waiting. Your community is waiting. The world is waiting for you to be financially free and financially liberated to pursue the things that have been sitting right here. Because you may have forgotten your dreams, but let me let you know, your dreams have not forgotten you. So if this has moved you, take action. And please like, share, and follow Focus Fire on Facebook and Focus Fire Life on Instagram. I hope that you got something out of this today. If you did, please type me in the chat. Please let me know whether you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook or on YouTube. I want to hear from you. Thank you for being here with me today on Dignity and Dollars. I pray for God to open your eyes to see, your ears to hear, and your heart to receive. That healing your relationship with money is for you. Financial liberation is for you. Because, say it with me, what I desire, I deserve. What you desire, you deserve. Amen. Amen. See you next time.